Hello, hello, dear friends, dear students. Uh, Myself, Dr. Balkhande Jayavardhan. Today, we are going to start the next unit, the paper called Aquaculture for the unit for the semester 6. Okay. So, we have already discussed the 3 units, and today we are going to start the 4th unit of this paper. The contents for the unit is the culture of non-fish organisms, including the freshwater prawn culture, pearl oyster culture, and edible oyster culture, mussel culture. Now the second point of this unit is the mariculture. In that particular, we will discuss the introduction, the types of mariculture, and the fish species for the mariculture. And last part in this unit or in the syllabus of this paper is the government participation in aquaculture. Means the role of the government in aquaculture for the developing of the aquaculture. So the ICAR, in that particular we will discuss the ICAR, that is the Indian Council of Agricultural Research. Then the Ministry of Agriculture, their role in the fisheries or in the aquaculture, and the Ministry of Commerce for the export and import strategy, and the most important ministry for this aquaculture industry is the Ministry of Food Processing Industry. So this part we will discuss in this unit. So first we will discuss the freshwater prawn culture. You just see in this picture in my hand, you will see the freshwater prawn, which was cultured by the fish farmer from the Nageshwari water tank, Taluka Aunda, district Hingoli. The place I have visited in 2014 and 15, where this water tank, the freshwater prawn, that is the Macrobrachium rosenbergii, is cultured by the farmers. Okay, so we know the freshwater prawns. There are about dozen of freshwater prawns belonging to the genus Macrobrachium. Brachium inhabit the Indian rivers and constitute rich resources in terms of delicious protein. Okay, and about the in that particular Macrobrachium, the 3 species that is called the Macrobrachium rosenbergii. Just see this my hand in left. Okay, so Macrobrachium rosenbergii, then the Macrobrachium malcolmsonii, and the Macrobrachium by birmanicum attain sufficiently large sizes and are economically very important. Okay, so from these 3 species, the Macrobrachium rosenbergii, popularly known as scampi, it is the largest and fastest growing freshwater prawn species in India, and which has received considerable attention of the farmers in recent years due to the higher profit realization from unit area, because we know these species, the fish farmers sell near about 500 per kg. Okay, and if this species is found in fish market, within a short time it will be taken by the people for the consume for their diet. Okay, so it is very high demand species in the fish market on the in our area. So the ever increasing demand of the species in international market further provides enormous scope for expansion of its cultivation. So this species is not cultured for local people. This species is not cultured. They are not not demanded in India, but it is these species is demanded by international level. So by demanding by their demand is increases day by day in international market. So the number of fish farmer, they attracted towards the freshwater prawn culture. Okay, so beside the monoculture, the compatibility with carps make the species suitable for its large scale adoption under the polyculture system. We know the monoculture, we know the polyculture, single species where the culture they are called monoculture, and number of species cultured along with other species, they are called polyculture. So along with the carps, Indian major carps, we can culture these Macrobrachium rosenbergii successfully. So in India, the juveniles of these species of prawns were traditionally collected from the nature and consumed either in either in fresh or in dried condition. If we visit to any fish market, so we will found the number of dry fish sellers shops. Okay, so in that particular shops we will get easily the dried conditions juveniles of the species, and that is very, again there is a high demand of the particular juveniles which is sale in the dried condition. Okay, so this is the Macrobrachium malcolmsonii, and this is the Macrobrachium birmanicum. These three species cultured throughout India. Okay, now we will discuss the culture environment, how it cultured and which type of environment is required for the culture of this species. So the growth culture of the species is carried out in the earthen ponds of 0.2 to 0.5 hectare in size, with the depth of near about 1.5 to 2 meter. So preferably with a sloping bottom and a sump at the lower and end of pond for easy harvesting. And as far as the temperature, the below 15 degrees Celsius is critical for the survival of the species. So the site selection is very important aspect for successful culture of the species. So the point should be noted that the temperature, so the temperature is more important. Below 15 degrees Celsius the species is not survive. So it require more than 15, more than 20 degrees Celsius for the growth. Okay, so and in India the culture of the species can be suitably undertaken in almost all parts of the country, but in a northern region where the temperature is already dropped, decreases, means their temperature is below 15, so there will be no prawn culture in the particular area. For example, the Himachal Pradesh or the Jammu and Kashmir or the Uttarakhand like states. Okay, and this nursery phase of this prawn is near about 45 to 60 days. Almost it requires 2 months prior to grow out phase for the successful farming of a scampi, that is the prawn. Means if you want to successful farming, so for that purpose in a nursery phase you have to settle the prawns of near about 2 months in a nursery pond or nursery phase. Okay, and the pre-stocking pond preparation for nursery and growth production involves number of steps, including the eradication of competitors and the predators, liming and pond fertilization. These points we have already discussed. The eradication of competitors means if we culture these prawns in a pond, so at that time we have to remove the predators from the water body. We have to remove the competitors for the food. So they are also eliminated from the water body, and the liming and the pond fertilization is also important factor while we doing the prawn cultures. Okay, now the nursery pond management. So smaller earthen ponds or the cemented tanks with an average water depth of 1 meter are preferably used for the nursery phase of this prawn culture. Okay, so we can use earthen pond also, or we can use cemented tanks also for the nursery phase. So floating weeds with a dense root system like Eichhornia, then Pistia, etc. may be provided as a shelter for the post larvae, covering approximately 10% of the water surface. So frame of bamboo or the PVC pipe may be used to prevent the spreading of the weed. Now how to frame the bamboo or the PVC pipe may be used for the prevent the spreading the weeds in the water body. So the nursery ponds are stocked with the post larvae, that is the 8 to 10 milligram mg at usual stocking density of 20 per meter. Okay, now you can see this, again the crumbled feed pellet means the artificial feeding is also important as far as the nursery pond is management. So just crumbled feed pellet, that is the at 100% of the biomass per day for the first fortnight, followed by 50% per day in subsequent period may be provided as supplementary feed in the nursery phase, nursery pond. Okay, and Again, the more important point or more important aspect in this nursery pond management is the uh, low oxygen, depletion of oxygen in the night. So aeration will be provided for 6 to 8 hours per day to keep the optimum dissolved oxygen level, that is the 4 to 6 milligram per liter. Because what happens, the in small ponds in the night usually the oxygen level is decreases. So just you can see in this picture, this is the artificial aerator which will helpful for increase the oxygen in the water body. Okay, so aeration is also important in the prawn culture system. Okay, and the next is the growth pond management. Okay, means how after the nursery phase, how we can manage the growth phase of this prawn culture. So this is the growth culture pond, we can see in this picture. Okay, so growth culture of Macrobrachium rosenbergii normally carried out for a period of 4 to 6 months. Okay, 4 to 6 months. So prawn juveniles obtained from nursery ponds are stocked at a density of 40,000 to 50,000 per hectare under the monoculture system, means only a single species of the prawn is cultured there. So supplementary feed is also important in this growth pond management. So it is in the form of pellet, that is 2 to 3 mm in diameter and 25 to 30% protein they have the 25 to 30% protein in the particular food. So with a water stability of 3 to 4 hours are broadcasted around the peripheral area at the rate of 10% of body weight during the initial month and followed by 3% body weight subsequent during the pond. Okay, and again these are very important aspect, because if we give the more feed to them which has a very, which means it contains protein, it contains vitamins or other antibiotics, so it will be helpful to grow very fast and a healthy prawn in the pond. So mixture of groundnut oil cake, rice bran, fish meal, etc. in duff form can be used when pelleted feeds are not available. This is the, again, this is the traditional food we have used in fisheries in the aquaculture. So this food can be also useful for the prawn in the prawn culture system. If there is no artificial or we can say there is no pelleted feeds are available, so in that case we will take this groundnut oil cake, rice bran or fish meal for the feeding purpose to the prawns in the rearing pond or the growth pond manner. Okay, now so this is the picture, we will just see there. The amount of daily feed is monitored through the provision of 4 to 6 check trays placed at a regular interval in the pond. You just see, this is one fish farmer and he just check the how much amount is taken by the prawns. So this is the useful technique, that is the check tray placed. This is the check tray where the feed is the artificial feed is kept inside this tray, and this tray is just drawn in the water. Okay, and after some time just lift this tray from the water and you just observe how much food is taken by the prawns. So by checking the feed or the monitoring the daily feed, we can just say that how much food is required for the prawns. Okay, so since feed consumption reduces during the molting period as well as in rainy or the overcast days, the daily feeding may be reduced during these periods. The molting stage is there in the prawns, so in that particular molting stage or molting period or in rainy or the overcast days, the prawns, they are not taken food or their consumption of speed of the consumption is reduced. So that's why in that particular days the feeding may be reduced. Okay, then the next is the water quality. The water quality in the growth ponds should be monitored at least in every 15 days interval, and appropriate intermittent liming and fertilization measures should be taken. So we have to check the water quality parameters in the growth pond management, and again the transparency of 30 to 40 centimeter is maintained in the pond through regular fertilization to avoid heavy growth of bottom algae. Okay, Now this is again the pond aeration should be done with the help of paddle wheel aerators in the night hours when the oxygen is depleted. We have just I will show you. See, this is the aerators. So with this help of these aerators, we will increases the oxygen. That oxygen is depleted in night hours. So by pond aeration is very important. So by using this paddle wheel aerator, we can increases the oxygen in the water. So usually the prawn reach marketable size of near about 50 gram within the 5 to 6 months, and production levels of 1 to 1.5 ton per hectare per crop can be obtained with the proper management. If we manage the ponds, means the nursery pond, the grout pond, so it will be very important phase of this prawn culture system. So after proper management, we will easily will get the 1.5 ton per hectare per crop can be obtained. Okay, and harvesting can be done with the complete draining of the pond followed by hand picking. You just draw all the water, drain all the water from the pond, and after the draining the water, you just by hand picking we can easily harvest the prawns, okay, from the pond. And last and very important criteria, because this is very important again, if we are managed very well our production, we can say the very good, but if there is no market, then there is no importance of the good crop or good prawns in our hand. Okay, so marketing and importance of prawn culture. So farmers expecting bulk harvest must make necessary arrangement with the processing or exporting agencies before harvest, so as to keep the quality to produce. So if we nearby, if we think that we have to culture a prawn, so at that time we have to check that whatever the processing or the exporting agencies are nearby us or not, and the transportation is also important. So that is very important aspect. And the domestic market for the commodity is also increasing at faster rate due to the increasing purchasing power of the people. So nowadays what happened, the people, their demand is increases, and the freshwater prawn, they are demanded very high. So we can also sell these in a local market also. I have already told you that the cost of the particular prawn is very high, means the 500 per kg the prawn they are sell to the people. So therefore the culture of freshwater prawn has immense potential for its large scale adoption by the farmers. That's why these technology or these techniques or this culture system is very important as far as the fish farming is concerned. So this is very again important culture system in non-fish organisms. So the importance of this prawn culture is, again, prawn farming plays an important and crucial role in the economy of India, because we know it is not used in locally, but it demands, or their demand in international market gives a boost to the economy of our country. So despite of several problems, the practice of freshwater prawn farming has offered opportunity to increase incomes for farmers and associated groups. So again, the employment generation is very important from this prawn culture system. And further, the freshwater prawn farming is right, but requires dynamism to exploit fully, and the realization of its potential must be aided by improvements in production technology and hatchery operation. We know the seed is very important as far as the prawn culture is concerned. So this production technology and the hatchery operation, they are also maybe improved. It may be improved. It must be improved. So farmers can take the juveniles, the seed of the prawns for their culture system. And in addition, the research in areas such as seed and feed production may need to be given particular attention, and considering the existing technology, the transfer, adoption and development of new technology. So again, the two areas very important as far as the prawn culture is concerned, seed and the feed production. So how to increases, we should increase these seed technology, then the feed production technology for a very good, we can say the good amount of prawn is harvested, or for production of a good amount of prawn in the ponds. So we have to think about that this culture system is very important, and it is very, again, if we have patience, if we have a good management, if we have a very good quality of water, then after that these three things, you will get a very enough production of this prawn, and by selling them, your economic also very, we can say, the boost to the economy of you only, not only you, but along with you, our country economy is also boost by taking the prawn culture in their, we can say, the prawn culture. Okay, so with this we'll stop here, and the next part we will discuss in our next lecture. Till then, goodbye. One more announcement, students, if you have any query about our lecture, about any we have discussed in this aquaculture paper, so please drop your questions in our YouTube channel, so we will discuss in brief. Okay, till then, goodbye.